Hey Internet, this is Pandragon down here, and I'm joined with Morgan Straughan Comnick.
Hello, everybody.
Hello everyone, yay! So, for those of you who've been following March Disney Villain Madness, you probably know what's going on here. Basically, we've been doing this little thing on the internet and our little social medias and everything like that, where we're basically trying to put together our own a team of Disney bad guys to try and decide who the greatest Disney villain or villainess of all time is. And so far, I think it's been going pretty well, wouldn't you say, Morgan?
It's been fantastic. The response has been great, and the battle's been very intense.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, I think I've got to be perfectly honest. There have been a couple of times I've been sitting there going, "Oh, just make it the end of the contest, please. Just make it the end of the contest."
I've had my heart accelerate quite a few times. I might need some stress pills now.
Yeah, I'll never be able to see a Disney film again after this. Anyway, the purpose of this video is earlier in I think was it around up January or February time, I think we first started discussing this.
Yeah, it's around the end of January we started talking and working on this.
What me and Morgan decided to do is, because we're both huge fans of Disney, as you guys probably know. So what we did is we put together a little team of 10 villains each, plus one secret villain that we're keeping for when the time arises. And we put together a little brackets tournament thing where we essentially put our team against each other. And it's been ongoing since 1st of March, and it's been pretty fun so far. The battles have been quite intense. Obviously, being that we're only allowed 10 men and women per team, there were only so many Disney villains we could include in that. So, because there were quite a few villains we could have included in this list, me and Morgan have decided to put our own sort of like... It was originally going to be like a top 10, but what we've now done is like a top 5 each. We've chosen 5 villains, which we probably should have included in this, but didn't for any number of reasons. And that's basically the purpose of our video today. So we're just going to start from number 10. Morgan's going to do one, then I'll do one, and by the end of it, we should have at least a few villains. So, Morgan, do you want to start off with your first villain that you thought it should be included in the list?
Oh, of course.
Yep, go right ahead.
All right, well, I've got a tie for number 10. They're both Pixar baddies.
Okay.
I've got Hopper from A Bug's Life
All
and
right.
Sid from Toy Story 1.
Yep.
And both bad to me, but just in totally different ways. So Hopper, as a kid, that film came out in 1997. I would have been about 9 years old, and the opening scene where he just jumps down into the anthill is just so intimidating to me personally. And that look he gives is just... I know he's a bug, and I could squish him as a human, but I couldn't get over that as a kid. And he's just mean. He's a bully. That's one of the reasons I picked him. And John Swayze does his voice, which is a really unique role for John Swayze, personally.
Cool.
In my
Nice.
opinion. And then Sid, as a teacher, he'd be the kid I probably would quit education for. He's just such a rotten little brat.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, he tortures toys, and there's no reason for it. I would love to, like, get into his mind and do, like, this analysis on him and just see what's wrong in his head. Because his mom seems pretty normal. His sister's normal.
Yeah.
And I loved my toys as a kid, so it broke my heart that, he would just torture toys and blow them up for no reason.
Yeah, I've got a bit. I kind of agree with that. I found Sid a bit disturbed as a character. Was that like a Arachnic toy with like the baby's head or something like that? I was like,
yeah.
What the heck was up with that? That freaked me out.
And he'd just blow up like little soldiers with firecrackers.
Yeah, that's just wrong, man. That's just crazy.
So those two Pixar baddies are my number 10. So they didn't quite make my final cut, but they still would make me just shudder.
Is it my turn now?
Go for it.
Excellent. Right. Right. This first one is my number 5 guy. I could have included. This one might be a little bit controversial, actually, but the one I chose as my number 5 villain is the Duke of Weaselton from Frozen.
Weaselton.
Is it Weaselton? Yeah, Weaselton, Weaselton, whatever it's I might get a few emails about this, but in my opinion, this guy so should have been the villain of Frozen, because I honestly think Hans got screwed in that film, and sorry, spoiler alert for the 5 people that haven't seen the first Frozen film. Basically, Hans turns out to be like the actual bad guy, even though he's kind of introduced like the handsome hero sort of thing. He's actually turned out to be the villain at the end, but... between you and me, I personally don't think his twist actually worked in some way, because it kind of like... I don't know how you feel about it, Morgan, but I felt it kind of came out of nowhere. There was no, like, natural progression, and everything he did beforehand kind of seemed to contradict it.
No, I completely agree with that. I think there's one tiny hint for the Love is an Open Door song. I caught it. The rest of my family didn't, and they usually get things before I do.
Okay.
And I mean, personally, I agree. I think Hans kind of got the bad end of the stick because he was nice to the people of Arendelle.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, he also tries to stop Elsa from being murdered from those two Weaselton killers. And if he was
Exactly.
trying to kill her, then why would he? I mean, I suppose you could argue that, well, he's the bad guy and he wanted to kill Elsa. That was his thing. But you know, it wouldn't really made much difference either way. He could have just killed her there and not even bothered taking her back to the castle. That was a stupid idea, but. Yeah, my real opinion, the Duke of Weaselton, he should have been the main villain of that film, but because he was so underused as a character, I really couldn't include him in the into my list. I mean, the only real thing I could really say about him was he and King Candy had the same voice actor, which was I'm probably going to get his name completely wrong, Alan Tudyk or something. Basically,
I think it's Turdic, yeah.
Basically, it's the guy that played Wash in the Firefly series. He was like the pilot of the Firefly planes. So that's pretty much all I could say about him. But you know, that's not really enough to convince him to be a villain. So yeah, so that's my number 5 choice, the Duke of Weaselton or Weaselton or whatever his name is. But yeah, over to you, Morgan.
Well, also, a real quick note about him. I watched Once Upon a Time, and I'm a huge fan of it. And he has a small role in the Frozen arc in season 4, and he tries to, basically, in the end, spoiler alert, he helps get Elsa and Anna's sister killed.
Okay.
So it's just really, it's a great episode, and that's kind of how he gets obsessed with trying to find Arendelle's secrets.
Okay.
So yeah, he's definitely a baddie, even in that context, because ABC owns Once Upon a Time, and that's also Disney. So.
All right, yeah, that's all right then. Well, at least they used him properly, you know, unlike what they did in Frozen. Yeah, at least it sounds like they used him properly there as a proper villain, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Over to you, Morgan. What's your next pick?
My number 8 total, is Ratigan.
Ah.
He's a great mouse detective, and a very underrated film.
Excellent.
In my opinion.
I agree.
This was kind of the time period where Disney was kind of in a slump financially. They quit doing movies with songs. And well, I love Ratigan's villain song. I mean, it's just so catchy. And I guess the mice get drunk. That's funny. The rest of the mice get drunk. I don't know about those. But he kidnaps a toy maker, basically, to make a robot version of the Queen of England so he can rule, because he doesn't like being known as a sewer rat. And that's pretty dark, and to think of something like that, I wouldn't go that far to make a queen robot. If I wanted to take over, I would just take over. But yeah. I think to have that kind of way of thinking is very interesting. And he's not afraid to hurt this little girl later. Is it Olivia? I can't remember. I feel bad. I can't remember her name. But she's really cute. And at the end, he does kidnap her and tries to hurt her in order to get Basil off of his trail. So, for those reasons, I thought he was pretty bad. But again, he's just kind of a rat. And I was like, okay. Most of these human people could just crush him.
Yeah, I suppose so. Wasn't he voiced by Vincent Price or something like that? I seem to recall. He was voiced by...
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Pretty sure I read somewhere. But... let's face it, Vincent Price is always a definite win in my books, because his voice alone, I think, just makes him awesome.
Plus, his death scene was pretty intense at the very end of the film, too.
You know, funny enough, I remember I was actually watching this video about the top 10 darkest Disney deaths, and his death was actually on there. And I've got to be honest, even I thought it was pretty...
It was, yes.
So I thought he was going to get crushed by the cogs on that one. Okay, now my next pick... Believe it or not, this is actually something that on the Facebook page, someone actually asked me about this villain, whether this person would actually make an appearance. And if they're watching this video, I'm afraid I am going to have to break your heart, unfortunately. My choice was Mad Madam Mim from Sword in the Stone.
The marvellous Mad Madam Mim.
The marvellous Mad Madam. Am I saying it that right, Mad Madam Mim?
Yeah,
because I know I actually got a couple of emails for... I don't know if you saw the videos we did of Dr. Facilier versus Jafar. The whole of that video, I actually called him Dr. Facilier instead of Facilier, and I did actually pick that up on myself, but a couple of people emailed me saying, "Oh, you're getting his name wrong, it's Facilier, not Facilier." Anyway, coming on to like Mad Madam Mim. Now, the funny thing is, Sword in the Stone is one of my favourite films. Well, certainly one of my favourite Disney films watching as a kid. And, you know, Sword in the Stone is actually one of my favourite stories of all time. Because, you know, I love the whole, like, Arthurian legend, the fact that there's a sword that only one person can pull out and he'll become king of the land. And, I don't know, I mean, Mad Madam Mim as a villain, I personally didn't find her very intimidating. I mean, yeah, she's funny, don't get me wrong. But for me, I think what makes a great villain is, yeah, they should be funny, but at the same time, there should also be, like, a certain threat level. Like, I don't know, I personally just never found her that intimidating, so as such I couldn't really include her on this list, especially when you consider my list includes like Maleficent, Shan Yu, Shere Khan, that kind of thing. So I don't think she would have stood up very well on my team, but that's just my reason for not including her.
She's not really overly in the film much either, is she?
Well, exactly. I mean, I think if I remember, because it's been a few years since I've actually seen the film, but she's only in like the last few minutes or something like. Well, she doesn't really make an appearance much until near the end of the film. They have that battle between her and Merlin.
Oh yes, the germ.
Oh, the germ. What a cheap way to beat someone, isn't it? Being beaten by a germ.
I thought it was creative.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's creative, but it's yeah, but it's kind of cheap. And look at where a lot of these Disney villains are being like falling to their death and stuff like that. But
right.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, she's a great villain, but couldn't really include her for those reasons. And to that person who quoted on Facebook, sorry, nothing personal, and I hope I haven't broken your heart too much.